Coming up, my trip to Walt Disney World from this past weekend. Welcome to the SEEWDW Near and Far podcast, where we explore perspectives of the Walt Disney World Resort from 10 to 1,000 miles away. I am Mike the Far in this equation.
And I'm John the Near.
All right, today I'm going to talk about my trip report from this past weekend. Largely, you'll hear a lot of Festival of the Holiday stuff, along with some other things. But first, John, how did your week in the parks go?
Well, I've actually been to parks 3 times this week. I'm going to just skim over the first couple because coming up next week, I'm going to do a review of the Grinch Breakfast at Universal Studios in Florida and also a review of the VIP Holiday Tour at Universal. I probably won't be going to the parks much this week, so that'll give me more time to discuss that next week as well, because I've got a lot of pictures and a lot of opinions on both of those, so good and bad. So that'll be coming up next week. But like I said, I will touch on them since I like to share my week in the parks. So on December 12th, this is where we went for the VIP tour at Universal Studios. And again, I'll get into that more next week. I even have some tips if you're going to do it. So, and it's sold out this year, so no hurry. I can. You're not missing anything by seeing it next week. So I'm basically going to skip over that. You'll see a lot of Universal at the holidays and tribute store. We got to go in, and it was a very interesting thing. There's Max. I got to meet Max the dog. That's a cool thing. Part of the VIP tour. And again, this is just a sample, but here's a little sampling of the food. And again, I've got a lot to say about that. This is the fries were ridiculous. The way they make you take them. Chicken and waffle was ridiculous. This stuff was really good, but we'll have more of that next week. See what I mean? It's hit and miss. So yeah, we got to go to Hogwarts at night with less crowd, so that was nice. Beautiful time to take pictures, and I was experimenting a little bit with my new gimbal, trying to figure out the hyperlapse stuff, and I focused it on the moon at one point, and then walked towards the moon to see what it would do. I don't know if I'd be able to see that or not, but that was interesting. I think this is it. Of course it turns it sideways. But anyway, with the hyperlapse, it's focusing on the moon. So everything else kind of stays the same and gets crazy, but it focuses as I slowly walk towards the moon. Yeah. Anyway, we got to see the show there and stuff. And that was about it for that one. Like I said, I have a lot to say about it. And I will get into specifics and timing and costs and all that stuff next week. On the 15th, which was my birthday, we went for back to Universal for the Grinch breakfast. So, again, I've got a lot to say about the breakfast and the food and the interaction with the characters. And a little spoiler, a lot of the food was really good, surprisingly. Like after, yeah, that's I was surprised. We got to meet the Grinch there because it's the Grinch breakfast, and believe it or not, it's not a guarantee. Sometimes he calls out.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
anyway, we visited the Krampus store, which I guess that has nothing to do with the breakfast. So that's where I could slow down a little bit. A lot of very interesting shirts and stuff, and this is the
that's
this is
that's
called
neat.
All Hallows Eve Boutique. This is at Universal Islands of
Islands
Adventure
of
side.
Adventure. Yeah.
This is what Universal Creative considers the tribute store of the Universal side, but it's always leaning into Halloween,
Hmm.
which is kind of cool because I guess that's their favorite too. I thought it was interesting that they have like this is a Krampus tree.
Hmm.
So Krampus is the Christmas theme. I have this shirt on right now. So I got a couple of shirts, but so the dogs must know I'm podcasting.
I really like that that and the Frankenstein one. It has
Yeah, I
a
like Frankenstein.
there's
It's
one.
good.
It's Frankenstein behind a Christmas tree. You're looking through the window, and Frankenstein has his standard kind of scowl on there, and it's snowing outside, and there's icicles on the window, and he's in there. It's all in red on the inside, and he's just
I know that's a
scowling.
great Christmas
I
one.
really love that. That is so cool. What a different shirt. They've done such a good job with these shirts that you're showing that you've got pictures and video of. I absolutely love them.
And here's one that my daughter got
Oh,
this shirt.
that's
It's
cool.
Krampus taking off his Santa mask. So,
Yeah,
but
love
yeah,
it.
the theming of this place was pretty crazy. I mean, here you can see there's Krampus, and like it's like got like weird skulls and horns hanging up, and just really creepy stuff. And yeah, here you can see a good picture of that. I mean,
Man, yeah.
Universal does some crazy stuff for Halloween. And I got a lot of footage in here, but you can just see how decorated it is. Chains, and here there's all kinds of postcards on the wall from Krampus, and
Man, that's
just
great.
really cool. Yeah,
I've
we
been in that
actually spent.
store actually. I've been in there when I went there last year, not last year, but the year before when I took my family there to Islands of Adventure, and I don't really think it was this well themed. It was
Now
like you said, it
they
leaned
change
into
it season.
Halloween. But man, it looks
Yeah,
great
look,
though.
here's the Krampus tree. See the Krampus at the top, and it has chains, and it has weird horn things, and then it's got Earl the Squirrel number 13 hidden in there, I guess for
Oh, I love it.
unlucky 13. And that's what I noticed too. All around the Universal resorts, they have an Earl the Squirrel in each of the trees with different numbers on. So I'm sure they do some kind of scavenger hunt or something like that with the Earl the Squirrels. Like you can find them all. Here's a wreath. Again, you just
As
can't find this stuff at Disney. I mean, it was
no, I
just
mean there's a wreath. What we're looking at is a wreath with chains coming off of it, and Krampus sticking his tongue out in the middle of it. Man, that's great.
oh, and
I
yeah,
love
and
it.
here's a few signs that they have. Leave your shoes out for Krampus, or else Saint
Wow.
Nicholas may be here on the 6th, but Krampus gets here first. Hmm. Have you been naughty or nice? Good or bad? Krampus is still on his way. Have you been good? I guess
Uh,
December 5th must be Krampus.
yeah, yeah. Krampus not.
But I do like that though. I some of the pictures, which I'm going to show here when you zoom in, these are downright creepy. I mean, look at the old pictures
Oh
of
yeah,
Krampus and little kids and carrying him away and just always putting his tongue out. Here's Krampus with a child hanging off his pitchfork. It's
yeah,
like,
oh,
that's just scary, you know?
yeah.
It literally, when you get into the old pictures like this, it literally does look scary, you know?
It
It's like,
does.
who made this? It's got to be the Germans, huh?
It is. It is the Germans. Yes.
Of course it
It's
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
a happy
I've seen
Christmas.
a lot of these pictures before. Like I've seen them in like kind of scary Christmas books and stuff like that. If you research the Krampus myths, all this kind of stuff is in there.
And there's Krampus taking a bad kid away with in a barrel on his
and
back.
and look at the mom, she's smiling, she's smiling, and the little girl
The
is
little
smiling
sister's
too.
quite pleased.
Yeah,
Thank goodness.
she's so happy that her brother's getting taken away and going to be eaten alive by Krampus.
Yeah, and one other thing I wanted to point out about this store, like I said, I got a lot of footage from it, but um, they have Universal Monster action figures. And I don't know about you, but I had these as a kid. Like I had that Dracula, and I didn't have the Wolfman, but they have Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and I used to have the creature from the Black Lagoon too, and I thought that was really cool. Of course, they didn't have any of those, or I might have got one just to put it
Yeah.
on my desk. But
I remember they had like a little bit larger size, almost like a Mego was the company that used to make a lot of that type of stuff. But
these were the original. These were the original size ones. Like I said, when I was a kid, these are just little ones that fit right in your pocket.
yeah, I don't
And
remember those ones. Hmm.
yeah, I had them. And it was raining after the Grinch breakfast, so we were mainly doing some holiday shopping. Um, Universal team members get 50% off for the
Oh,
holiday season, which
wow.
extends to family members too. They're not like Disney where they go, "No, you can't. No, only you. No, only."
Yeah.
Like when my wife worked for Disney, they would yell at me for trying to use my credit card. They'd be like, "No, you can't do that," and I'd be like, we both have the same card. We're married, but it's like, nope, nope. They were absolutely um, really pushy about it. Yeah, for people that are familiar with Universal, they actually moved this dinosaur closer
Wow.
to Thunder Falls Terrace. He wasn't far away, but this
Yeah.
setup is kind of across the path. So
Hmm.
interesting that they moved it. And yeah, really that dinosaur has a lot of good detail to it. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely one of the good ones. And we went shopping in the Jurassic Park store for, um, looking for Christmas gifts. They have a lot of tin signs there now, which I thought were really awesome. Like, I really liked. I ended up getting a couple of these signs. They're just really cool, like the tin signs, and
It is cool.
just something different. I like stuff like that you can hang up. I thought it was pretty cool. And I don't think we did much else there. Cool picture of Stan Lee
Oh
in the
yeah,
mirror.
that's look at that. That's cool.
I was gonna say I've never been a huge comic book fan or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely feel like Universal actually respects and likes the original stuff. Like I said, the fact that they still have a giant Stan Lee up in their case, like go in the store, it's a huge poster of Stan Lee doing the
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man thing. It's like that's just uh, they really do have respect for him. Like I just
Yeah,
don't
he
feel like
he was a great guy. I met him twice. I met
yeah.
him, and he's just a really super nice guy. Really great guy.
Oh, and in there too, they also have a Marvel tree. There's Thanos,
Wow.
Captain America. I think the Hulk is on here, Earl the Squirrel number 18. They even sell comic books there, you know. Like honestly, I've never been to the whatever they call it, the Marvel thing they put in Disneyland, but I just like this style a lot more. Like this feels more like Marvel to me than the whatever thing they do out in Disneyland. Like if I ever make it to Disneyland, I don't think I'm going to spend much time there at all. I might walk through and be like, yeah, it's nice, but
Mm.
I
Well,
just can't imagine.
that land is definitely a tribute to at Universal is a tribute to 90s like true comic book fans and the
Yeah,
comic book like genre, whereas Disney's is more Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not comic book related at all, pretty
yeah,
much. It's just movies, and so
yeah.
I personally am from the same, you and I are around the same age, so I grew up with exactly what you're showing and all that. So
Oh
I
yeah,
really like that stuff too, a lot.
yeah.
That's what I love.
Like the '90s X-Men and stuff.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just so cool, and the fact that they were cartoons and yet they were so serious.
Yeah.
They weren't joking. It was like
Yeah.
it was so good, but. So yeah, it was raining a lot, so we didn't do a lot. I did want to point out they have these wall things there, plaques to put on the wall. I actually have all of them. Again, I didn't get them this year. We got them a few years ago, but it helps to have somebody who gets a discount at Universal. Oh, I did go next door then too before I left. They have a temporary prop shop set up. The
Hmm.
prop shop, they closed it a while ago, and now they brought it back and put it in the Brown Derby hat shop, at least for a little while. So I thought that was pretty cool to see the stuff again. I didn't get anything there. There were a couple things that I thought were interesting, but I, you know, since I'm not a bachelor, I don't have a lot of options when it comes to buying large props to bring to the house.
I
My
understand
daughter and
that.
I like to joke and say what we're gonna get, but yeah,
I
all
don't want to
right.
play your fancy schmancy videos.
Yeah, it looks like it won't play anything, but that's okay. I also rode ET, so for my birthday, I only went on one ride,
Hmm.
and I made sure it was a good one.
So, is it just me, or have they started to uh, like actually use that card thing or whatever on the ET ride? Do you know what I mean?
Oh
Before you
yeah,
get
they
to
use that.
see, when
As,
I went on that ride a couple years ago for the first time, they didn't do that. That was during COVID, so maybe that's why. But um, last time I was on it, just this past trip we went, they did it, and so I was a little bit shocked by that. I thought that was weird, but
Now, a matter of fact, and again, we can't share the sound, but on this particular ride, ET said my name and then my wife's name and my daughter's name clearly at the end. He said all three of us, and I was like, "Wow,
wow.
that's rare that you'd have three people sitting next to and all just perfectly. It worked out." And of course, I have it on film, but you wouldn't be able to hear it anyway.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
yeah, let's see. Yeah, you can't hear it, but he said John, Melanie, Maddie, and that right there is perfect. So, and again, it was raining, and we already had a long morning and stuff, but I figured I need to do at least one ride, and rain and Islands of Adventure don't mix well, so much was closed over there. So I'm like, if I could just ride ET, I'll be happy. That's good enough for my birthday. So that's what I rode. And they have an ET tree as well.
Hmm.
I don't think oh, there he is, number 12. I was going to
Mm-hmm.
say, didn't know if I found the Earl the Squirrel there or not. So, yeah, some ET merchandise and always good. Like I said, we here's some of the bags.
Wow. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Looks like 11 merch bags that you guys hauled.
Now, just so you know, that's my daughter bought a lot of that too for her friends and things
Right,
like
yeah.
that. But I'm sure my wife helped. Oh, and there's my universal pin, which I didn't even think about, but my daughter grabbed me one when I got there. I didn't even think, you know, to get the pin. And I have to tell you, I've been to Disney on my birthday many times. And, the last few times that I was there on my birthday, I didn't get a lot of interaction. I don't know why.
Hmm.
It might be me because I look, maybe I don't look like a happy customer or something.
Hmm.
But at Universal, man, I got a lot of very nice interaction with guests and stuff. Even the woman at the parking booth was talking to me and telling me I hope you have such a great day. And it's like,
Hmm.
I didn't even say anything. I think my wife was like, yeah, she's like, oh, you're going to the parks today. And my wife said something like, yeah, it's his birthday or something. And she just couldn't stop. I started feeling bad for the guy behind me. I was like, man, he's probably saying, what's going on? I want to get in the parks. But I really did appreciate it, though. I have to say, it makes you feel good.
You know
Even
what that reminds me of? That whole thing that you're saying reminds me of another theme park that used to be. I don't think it
yeah,
exists any
yeah, I
longer,
used to
but
feel that way at Disney a lot.
yeah.
Part of the reason I moved here.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
anyway, Universal does do birthdays too, and they do, um, even without the button, they're quick to tell you happy birthday. I was going to say, I actually think, who else said it before I even had the pin? I scanned my finger and did the pass, and the guy there was like, "Oh, happy birthday, John!" Like, and I
Huh.
was like, "Oh, yeah, that it must pop up on the screen there too." So, again, little things, but I did feel a little bit of that Disney magic that I
At
don't feel at Disney
Universal.
anymore.
That's right.
So that
Wow.
was it for that day, and I'll try not to take too long. I don't want to take the whole podcast up, but I went to on the 16th, which was the next day. I went to the Magic Kingdom, and the reason was I was gonna wait. I just went to the park on the 15th. I usually don't go 2 days in a row, but I looked, and it turns out I'm blocked on the 17th and forward, and I'm like, all right, I need to go today. Can't go till next year. I really should just go. So I did. Um, the cast members, I know it's a surprise, but there was a bunch of them there talking about what shift they're going to do and who's doing what after work. I had no idea what row this was or section. And to walk in this direction was a very, very long walk in the wrong direction because the other way I could go right to the entry. So I used this as a marker, 374 on the monorail, and
Hmm.
I use that perspective. Normally, I write down the section and the number because I go to the parks way too much to think I'm going to remember. But it actually worked out great though because going opposite where you can't see the number, I was 2 rows back from whatever you call it, premium parking. So if I paid $50 more, I would have had to walk an extra like 8 seconds or 8 seconds less. I kind of thought that was funny too. When I came back, I'm in the premium parking and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I looked and I'm like, premium's here and I'm here. I'm like, wow, that's a
Hmm.
stroke of luck for me. I could have paid $50 for this spot. But
Hmm.
anyway, went to the Magic Kingdom. The first thing that you'll notice, I think, as I pull up, is the train was out, which I'm sure you've seen a lot lately, but see how the
Sure.
train is rolling along there.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
that does make you feel good though. The fact that that's going to be back sooner rather than
yeah,
later.
I was happy to see that as I pulled up. I didn't get any good footage of it, but just nice to see. Um, so I walked in, and what my plan was to try my new what is it, OM6 DJI gimbal. I wanted to play with that a little bit and try to figure some stuff out. So I thought first thing I'm going to do is uh, is do a hyperlapse and make it focus on the castle. Let's see, I got there about 12:14, and the last couple times I went here, I go in and it's like 3 o'clock, and I'm like, the parade messes everything up. But I went in and it was the parade again at noon too.
Hmm.
So I guess they have it many times throughout the day, but I wasn't expecting that, so couldn't do the hyperlapse thing. I kind of scooted off to the right, went to the Tomorrowland Transit Authority, which, like you had said, you can tell who's there based on lines sometimes. Like you were talking about the candlelight processional and stuff, but
Right.
before the podcast, check out the line for People Mover.
Yeah.
There is no line for
No
People
line.
Mover, literally none. And this is at 12:30 on a Friday. It's like that's kind of weird. But I did want to mention too, the reason I picked Magic Kingdom was I was only going to go for a couple hours, and it's a party day.
Holiday party.
So I'm
That's
like,
yeah.
I was hoping maybe my luck will hold out and it won't be too bad. Um, and but I've been on a party day before, and the TTA line did not look like that. It's
Yeah.
usually outrageous. Just it's usually crowded no matter what. I've honestly waited more for that than Space Mountain, than Pirates. Like literally, I've waited longer at the TTA. I've waited 30 minutes so many times in the last few months for that. And as a vlogger, I have to do it, so I have no choice.
That's right. You do.
There's nothing I can do.
That's
I'm
right.
obligated.
It's like yeah. You have to do it.
And you can see the Tron progress here. I didn't get the train going by. The train has been going through the tunnel there, and I didn't get any ride vehicles going by either. But I've gotten that so many times. But all the concrete work is coming along pretty good. It's really the plantings are going in. It really is looking good all around, and I'm sure they could open it anytime they want. It's been so many years now, but
Well, they're testing it with people right now, literally,
oh
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know who the people are. They're probably Imagineers, but they are definitely testing with people. So,
Well, the next thing I did was I was walking, playing with my gimbal, and of course it's going to show everything sideways with the gimbal, so that's nice. But yeah, they don't allow it to fix it. Anyway, I was walking and it said that the Pirates was a 15-minute wait. And I didn't necessarily want to ride Pirates, but I'm like, 15 minutes, I would try that. Where I was headed was Splash Mountain because that said 5-minute wait. And I think that's because it was a party day and because it was cooler out that day, like a lot of the Florida people had like jackets on and stuff. For a normal northerner like you, it was not. It's warm.
yeah,
Like I had
right.
t-shirts and a short on. I just didn't need any. But the problem was by the time I got over there, the app still said 5 minutes. The queue sign said like 35 minutes, and I saw people in that back queue. And if you add in Lightning Lane into that, I was like, nah, all right. I thought I wanted to go there and record walking the queue, and I figured it'd be empty. If it says 5 minutes, that normally means you don't even stop as you're walking. And I'm like, I can't pass that up. So, but I didn't go on it because it wasn't 5 minutes. And
You
again,
you also didn't want to, as you know, you didn't want to offend anyone either by going on it. So that was
I
the
have
thing.
to say, I don't even know if I'll go on it again or not. Like I might, but the the next time, like it just the whole idea that they're taking that down makes me so mad that I'm probably better off just saying, all right, it's already done. I'm just not
Yeah.
forget about it.
I definitely, when I go back in 2 weeks, I am definitely going to ride it. So if you
Well,
meet me in Magic Kingdom, maybe I'll try and talk you into doing that
well, I would do that.
one last time together.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, all right. I can't say no to that. But I just keep thinking that anyway.
I'm with you on that. It's depressing, right? So, where's this at? Is
Same
this
ride.
contemporary or where is this?
Yes, that is the contemporary, and
Okay,
this
I
is a
thought
little
so.
spot. This is out front. Most people never even go to this spot. I I saw this a year or two ago wandering around with a friend of mine who does photography, and I thought you have to stand up on the little ledge here, but there's one on the other side to get the downward angle. But I always liked that picture. I always thought it was cool to see.
Yeah.
They do it every year. There's a festive Mickey of some sort here overlooking the tree straight through. I have a feeling it's mainly for the people up higher, I guess. Like looking down, you can probably see it much better.
Very
So,
nice.
but anyway, I didn't even say after the Magic Kingdom, after I saw Splash had a pretty good line, I decided to head out because I wanted to go to the Contemporary just to see that tree there. There's the train again. And I also wanted to do another video of walking from the Contemporary all the way to the parking garage. So, plus it's an excuse to exercise a bit. And while I was there, I made sure to get some pictures of the Disney Contemporary gingerbread, they call it.
Nice.
I like this one, but it's never been my most favorite one. Like it just doesn't.
Hmm.
I always look at it and I'm always like, yeah, it's all right. And there's not like crowds around it or anything either.
Yeah. It's really different. Like I've never seen that one before.
Yeah, it's dressed up for the 50th, so and it looks like Small World, the castle, Minnie and Mickey, and yeah, it's just like a bunch of stuff. But
Hmm.
anyway, and at a certain point, I know that they use gingerbread to make this stuff. But at a certain point, when there's glowing neon edges and everything else, it gets to the point where, I could glue gingerbread on my car too, but it's not really a car made out of gingerbread anymore. It's like there got to a point where even the Grand Floridian one, everybody knows, but it's wooden. It's a wooden shed, and they just put the stuff around it and stuff, and
Right.
so you can't. Not that you can't, but people aren't going to make an actual large structure out of gingerbread that if
Yeah.
someone leaned on it, it'll just crumble. But I'm sure there's ways to thicken and harden it where it would be not edible gingerbread, like it would be too hard to eat anymore. But again, Disney has to follow a lot of codes and stuff. You can't have cast members inside a building made out of food, working. So,
Right.
but anyway, that's just one of my little complaints. I like their gingerbread stuff, but like I said, it got to the point of is it really gingerbread? Because it is, but it isn't. And yeah, I was trying some of my stuff. Oh, this one's actually not sideways. See how it in this particular one, it looks like the background is moving, but he's
Yeah.
not moving. He's
Huh.
staying where he is. I think it's called like a dynazoom or something. Isn't that weird? It's almost like it's
It
doing
is
two
weird.
directions at once. So I was playing with that again, playing with my gimbal and the software that comes with it, trying to see if I can do strange things at the contemporary. And while I was there, I had multiple people wanted me to take their picture and stuff. So I told them, no, I'm afraid to get sick. I can't. But I don't care. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was nice. I offered it. I stood around that playing with it, so I figured I'd ask people while I'm there. Yeah, you want your picture taken? So I was
Yeah.
pretending to be a Disney PhotoPass person
Yeah.
while I was there, offering
I
to.
mean, and in fairness about the the full disclosure about the sickness thing, that was maybe longtime listeners might recognize that joke because we used to say that before quite often in a time before when the world had changed.
Yeah, and here and this one I did because, as you know, it's hard to find stuff to put on YouTube. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do a fast motion walk from
Yeah,
Contemporary back to the
cool.
parking lot. So here's a little clip of what it looks like. Um, I had to do it in a few sections because I like to stop, and there's certain ones too, like you're not supposed to have it on through security, but technically I could put it down and pull it back up and you wouldn't even notice it. It'd be a blip anyway. But with software editing, there's no need to not just turn it on and off. I can just edit it together at the end, you know. So but it's yeah, it's this is done with my GoPro too. My GoPro Max 360. Although I've been thinking about getting the GoPro 11, which I
Hmm.
hear is a pretty good upgrade. So and I like doing these kinds of videos. So it could be interesting.
It is
As
interesting. I have the 10, and I'm just kind of I'd be curious to see how what it's like. Or no, I'm sorry, this is the 9. I have the
yeah.
9. So it my understanding was I thought then it must be the 10. I was thinking my understanding was that the 10 isn't really a big upgrade, but so the 11 must be the one that every 2 years I guess they do a really decent size upgrade on them.
Yeah,
So
I've heard, and I know in the software too, there's a lens function where you can change what it looks like and everything. So that's pretty impressive. Um, as you can tell from these videos, like that that's it's called the time warp, I think,
yeah,
function.
something like that.
And to get to the Grand Floridian, that's why I did that. It was 1.18 miles. It took 24 minutes for me, but I stop a lot. So it's only a little over a mile to walk from the Contemporary to the Grand Floridian. And I always say, people that go, oh, it takes too long, try being on the monorail when they say, and now we're going to do maintenance. While you're on
Yeah.
it, you're going to stop for 30 minutes. Don't worry about it, and your head explodes. So
Yep. I
that's
have
that's
I have a
that's
good
good.
monorail in my trip report. We'll talk a little bit about the monorail.
Yeah, and there is a couple more. I walked right through, and uh, what they call this is time warp function.
Yes,
But
that's what it
notice
is.
how smooth it is, though. Like it really isn't bouncy. Like if you tried this with an iPhone, you would get shake all over. There's no shake on this at all. It's very smooth and flowing. So
And
that's
you're
why
not using a gimbal either, right? You're
no,
just using
nope.
this stick,
It's
right?
literally I have it here. It's literally this. It's
Yeah.
there's nothing. It's rigid, and I just use this because it gives you something to grip. So I'm literally bouncing around and walking with the thing. It should not look that good, and it does, which is why I've used this thing a lot. And you can also get it changed. in the software, you can save it as 9 by 16 for the other for like Instagram or whatever too. So it works either way. And I stopped at the Contemporary again. Obviously, I stopped at the Grand Floridian. We just saw that. It looked to me like they spruced up this sign a little bit for the Polynesian. It could just be because they put the red flowers out front, but it just looked brighter to me. I made sure to get some more video of the Polynesian tree, which is one of my favorites. Speaking of that, I need to do a reel on that before Christmas. I just love the Polynesian tree. And yeah, from there, I went back to the parking lot, and it was about 3 miles, and it took it took an hour and 10 minutes or so. That hour and 13 minutes includes stopping at the Grand Floridian, includes stopping at the Polynesian as well to take some pictures and video there outside. Like, I didn't turn this off while I did that. So anyway, it's a few miles, and that sounds like a lot, but check your pedometer when you're at Disney doing anything.
Yeah. I
It's
guarantee. Yeah.
quick. So anyway, that is it for my Disney trips.
All right. Well, sounds like you got a lot in anyhow on your trips, and at least you got the Magic Kingdom in before you got blocked.
And it's up to you, just to have something to look at. Nice. Should I leave this up while you go through your trip report?
Leave it up. That's good. That's perfect, because we'll talk about that too. Yeah, so let me just preface real quick and just say that I was not going to go to Disney World before the holidays. Prices were really crazy. I mean, even pops and all the values there, their prices were just insane. So when they started to I guess when they maybe started to not be able to fill some of the rooms up because they blocked out a lot of the local and smaller pass holder people, then maybe that caused different demand. So the prices came down quite a
That
bit.
can't be. They don't need pass holders for anything.
Well, that's what they think, because
Well,
they
I
they blocked all you guys out other than the Incredipass. So
I did want to mention though too. My daughter is going to Epcot tomorrow
mhm.
because she has a cast member friend. So
Okay,
cast members can go even though it's Christmas week now. That is very weird because when
that
my
is
wife
weird.
worked there, they were very strict about that. As a pass holder, I got treated better than she did as a cast member for working there. And now they kind of changed that around
Yeah.
where they're not blocking out cast. They would block cast members out for anything. They'd be like, well, it's going to be warm today. You're all blocked out for no reason. It'd be like just
Mhm.
random weird stuff. They'd block her out all the time. And
Y-
again, she wasn't even allowed to go into Hollywood Studios for like a year and a half, something like that. Like
Yeah, I
literally,
remember
you
you
can't go
saying
there
that.
at all. It's like it was just weird. But anyway,
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that. I couldn't help myself.
No, no, that's great. And so the pricing really came down. The Pop Century prices and the All Star prices were almost the same as your typical off season. So we were able to, along with the the AP discount, we were able to get a decent deal for 2 nights at Pop. And Pop is, one of our favorite resorts. And so we decided to book it. We got a really cheap rate on flights through Spirit. So flew down on Spirit. Uh, and the other part of this was too that Disney announced they're doing for the holiday season a larger discount for AP pass holders. Now, that seems like a big deal, but if you're blocking out most of your pass holders, it's not going to take a big hit unless those pass holders go to Disney Springs. And John will tell you that Disney Springs is not exactly probably a pass holder's favorite destination. That's right.
Not me, at least.
Yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of people. Anyways, the first night we got there was Friday night. We got in kind of late, so we didn't really do much. Saturday, we got up early and we decided to go over to Epcot and experience Festival of the Holidays. Let me also add that the week leading up to our trip, I got, I don't know, kind of a hunch that I might be able to book the sold out candlelight processional um, with Neil Patrick Harris, who was there when I was down there. That's who was the guest. And sure enough, every day they were coming up. People were canceling them, and I think it's because of these pass holders like John that say got blocked, and they didn't realize they were going to get blocked, and they started canceling their candlelight reservation. Now, basically, what that is for the earlier shows, they don't let the general public in most of those shows. So unless you have dining package, which is a $60 a piece dining package, they're not going to let you in. And a lot of people end up waiting around the park for hours and hours and hours to get into that last show as general public. And that last show, I think it's like after 8 o'clock or around 8 o'clock. Um, Anyways, I was able to get Garden Grill. I had scheduled so many of those things throughout the week for different things, like the Norway restaurant. There was a couple other ones that came up, and the menus. I didn't really like the menu for the Norway one. Some of the other ones I wasn't crazy about.
The Garden Grill is great, though. That's
Well, I said to my wife, I said, if Garden Grill comes up, I said, I canceled one at the very last time, and I said I'm not going to book another one unless Garden Grill comes up. Garden Grill came up, and I booked it, and it was for the 7 o'clock show. It fit perfect for everything we wanted to do, so I scheduled it. So if you are going to try and get into the candlelight processional and you get it's sold out, you can't get in, keep your eye on the dining reservation part of the app. Like keep checking it because I think you'll be able to get in. Particularly whenever other pass holders are blocked out. If you're in Credit Pass or you're just a day guest, you're probably going to be able to do it. All right, on to the trip. We got to Festival of the Holidays. We were going to do the cookie stroll. I saw that they were giving out Guardians of the Galaxy pins, holiday themed Guardians of the Galaxy pins for the cookie stroll prize and a wrapped cookie. So I said to my wife, I said, I think I'm going to do that cookie stroll, and she was going to do it. So we did that. You got a stamp for every cookie that you ate and or purchased. And so we went around throughout the day doing that along with other things. You did get a pin at the end of the cookie stroll as, part of your prize. And that was really cool. It's a cool looking pin. I don't have it because I left it in my owner's locker in Florida. Um,
what kind of pin is it, though? Is it like a metal pin, or is it like one of the Disney collectible
it's
pins?
it's a
Or
metal collectible pin, like not like a happy birthday pin, but like you said, like a collectible pin,
hmm.
like a pin trader type style pin.
Yeah, see, I don't even know that stuff exists. I know so little about the Festival of the Holidays. But
Yeah, well, that's typically they give stuff out. Like last year, they gave out a prize for the cookie stroll. It was an ornament for your Christmas tree. So they at the end of that thing, they always give prizes out. They do things like that for every festival, whether Festival of the Holidays is a cookie stroll. There's food related ones other times a year. I think there's something for Festival of the Arts too coming up where you go and you do things and you get your book stamped and then you get a prize at the end. Most of the time, the prize is a drink or food, something like that. But yeah, the pin was a new twist. I didn't expect to see that. I knew going into this thing that that was the prize, but that they chose that as a prize this year was really cool. All right, so I did book Guardians of the Galaxy as well earlier in the day, and it broke down. I think I was group 38. That got me into the ride about 9:30, at least in the line. I don't remember what time I texted you, John, and said, in the line, and the ride's broken down, and I'm just in a standstill at this point. But it did break down. It didn't last too long as far as the breakdown. I did get on. I got to ride it with somebody else. My wife refused to ride it. I don't. I really don't think it's a big deal. The holiday overlay. It's just the song, but it was still fun.
Yeah, the last time I did it, I definitely I could hear the song better. The first time I didn't even hear the song. Almost I couldn't even make it out. So again, it doesn't feel like it fits as well as the other music, but it
Yeah,
was all right. It's the best I could say.
yeah, and that's just it. It was just it was fun, and like I said, anytime you get to ride that ride. So we went from there over to Figment, Journey into Imagination, just to see Figment wearing his Christmas sweater. Again, that ride seriously needs redone, I think, but it was still fun seeing Figment in his sweater. And then we had our lunch at Garden Grill, and I had character interactions. They came around twice. The food was okay. I definitely believe, John, I don't know if you experience this, that the food has taken a little bit of a step backwards.
It has like I think they got rid of turkey, and
They
that's
did.
like something they did across the board. Like all the restaurants you used to get slices of turkey, they give you a mix of light and dark meat chicken, and
Yeah.
they make it extra salty so it feels like it might be turkey, or so you don't notice or whatever. Overall, I still like the food. It wasn't as good as it used to be though, but
Yeah,
I still enjoyed it.
it was decent. They gave you a slice of beef with I forget what it was on top of it, but it really it tasted really good. Um and again, this is family style, so you can get whatever you want. The potatoes were delicious. I really loved them.
Yeah.
They were good. The service was just excellent as normal in
I,
there.
I I really enjoyed the salad for some reason.
I was
It
gonna
was
say that. I'm
I don't
so
know
glad
why.
you
It
said
was
that.
just good.
I don't know what it is about that salad, maybe because it's so fresh, but that's got to be one of the best salads I've ever had. And it's very simple. It's like a spring mix almost, but it's the vinaigrette or whatever they put on the salad. It was
Yeah.
just delicious. The the leafy greens and everything in there just tasted
Yeah,
great.
very fresh, and
Yeah,
I feel like that and the Liberty Tree Tavern stuff, they must use so much salad that it never gets. It just feels so fresh,
yeah.
maybe they get it from the land there.
I don't.
That could
Yeah,
be it too.
I
It's
wouldn't be
just so good.
surprised by that at all. Again,
Yeah.
character interactions were great. We left full, and from there, we went and rode Spaceship Earth. Of course, always, nothing new there. Always a great ride. And then we went over to Magic Kingdom, and we went over to Magic Kingdom for exactly maybe an hour and a half. The crowds were absolutely insane. Everything was an hour wait. Other than the Carousel Progress, which we went into the Carousel Progress and experienced that. I wanted to do one of the old rides. Um, I looked at the People Mover. It was stopped, like it was broke down. So we didn't go back on that or didn't try and get on that. And then we just left. We left the Magic Kingdom. We took a look through the shops and maybe looked at the popcorn buckets to see what was available. There wasn't much available, nothing that special. So we went. We were going to go to the Grand Floridian to check out the gingerbread, stuff, and the monorail was just to get to the hotels was crazy. It was like you couldn't even get on the you were up the platform. We waited for almost 20 minutes on the platform, not moving anywhere. And it was because the monorail was so full of people just going around, going to the hotels and going to Magic Kingdom that you
Yeah,
just couldn't
sorry
get
about
on it.
that. That's the pass holders doing that. And I that's the locals, and I literally heard them saying that. Like I talked to people on Friday and they were like, "Well, since we're blocked out, we're going to see all the monorail resorts on Saturday and stuff." And I'm like, "I didn't do that. I went home." But
Yeah,
those
that's
other
what
people that are
I
a
kind of
problem.
wondered. And that's fine. They were blocked out, and I get it. So we just decided not to do that. We went back over to Epcot. We did go do the Living with the Land with the holiday overlay. That thing was, it's always great to see.
Yeah. Did
Highly
you feel
recommend.
like they added more to it this year? I
Yes, I
I
did.
feel like there was more effects, more
Yep.
lighting, more everything. So
And I think there was, and also they change things. It's not the same every year. So like the trees might be shaped different. Um, this year I noticed a couple of the trees were shaped a little different. Some of the decorations were a little different. But I definitely, it's just one of my favorite things to do. And actually, believe it or not, was a big reason why I wanted to do this trip. Um, so then we went to the Japanese pavilion to buy some stuff for my kids because they love the stuff from the Japanese pavilion. All along, as we're going through Epcot, we're doing this cookie stroll thing. John, I want to tell you something. Don't do the cookie stroll in one day. Like you live down there. If you ever want to do it, space it out. It just, man, we were so full. I literally felt like I was going to throw up after eating all those cookies. It was too much.
yeah, so yeah, I feel like Disney does entice you to eat stuff way too much like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I know when you just do it on vacation, you can live with it. But that's why
Yeah.
I just kind of backed off from a lot of that stuff because yeah, I just can't. And I was just
Yeah.
making sarcastic comments today about how they're putting a cupcake and cookie bakery instead of the ESPN club on the boardwalk.
Right.
I said, "Oh, just what we need. There's just not enough availability of cupcakes now, like we need more." It's like
Yeah.
I was being sarcastic because if you eat even a fraction of the extra stuff they give you, like maybe not everybody, but it literally makes me feel sick. So I
Yeah.
can't. Not the next day. I do. I don't know why. I almost get like a hangover from overdoing stuff like that. But
Well, I didn't get that the next day, but I just felt so sick, and it's hard to walk when you feel that when you're shoved full of that sugary stuff. So they didn't, it's not that they tasted bad. They didn't. Everything tasted great. And the other part about it is they weren't that expensive for Disney World. Some of those cookies were like $3 and something, and they were giving you the pass holder discount too on most of those booths. The only difference was the one that you could get at Starbucks. They didn't give it to you there, but
yeah.
everywhere else pretty much did.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good. They didn't used to do that very
yeah,
often. And
yeah, they didn't. It's just for this promotion that they're doing, so it was like 20%. So if you go do the cookie stroll, make sure that you get your pass holder discount.
it's funny they're doing all this pass holder discounts, and then the vast majority of pass
Yeah,
holders are blocked, and
that's what I
you know
said
what
to
they're
start the
trying to
show.
do?
Yeah,
Like you had said before, they're actually trying to get people like me to buy 1 day tickets to fill in the
yes,
gap. Be like,
exactly.
well, I'll just go 1 day. Look at all the great discounts I'm getting.
Yeah. Well, I will say throughout the day, not only was I getting discounts on the cookie, and by the way, the candlelight processional dinner package, you don't get a discount on that. So I asked.
But $60 is not bad because I feel like it's already about. I think that's like the normal price
It's pretty close to that for
for the
absolutely. You're
Garden Grill.
right.
I could have
Yeah.
sworn I just spent like $59 a person when I was there. So
So one of the things for this dinner package is Le Cellier, and you darn well know you're going to spend more than $60 typically at Le
yeah,
Cellier. You know, so
yep.
yeah, I mean, I had that. I had it, and I was getting ready to book Le Cellier, and I said to my wife about it, and she didn't respond to me right away, and it was gone. So,
Yeah.
but Garden Grill's a good consolation for me. I love Garden Grill. We after doing all these things, we went and did the candlelight. It's beautiful. I just all I can say is what a gorgeous, beautiful show. It really is. The choreography. They now have the Voices of Liberty in as part of the show. They didn't used to before. It used to be like local choirs that they would bring in. So they're doing the local choirs and the Voices of Liberty and the narrator, who's always a celebrity, and they're doing a full orchestra. So it's just a great show. They tell the Christmas story, the traditional, biblical Christmas story, and they read it like it's pretty much written in the Bible, in most Bibles. So again, just a gorgeous show, great selection of songs, and how they do it is
Well,
amazing.
your narrator though is the most popular one, so I'm surprised you were able to that there was
I
any availability at all because you usually I saw Neil Patrick Harris there once,
Yeah.
and from very far back walking by, I was like, yeah, I can see him up there behind
Yeah.
the lights, but there was a crowd outside too. Everyone just crowding
Yep.
around trying to see it. So
You're
he
right.
is. I don't know if he's the most popular, but I would not be surprised if he was. So.
Traditionally, he is. This year, though, Josh Gad did it for the first
Oh
time.
yeah, I forgot he was
So
just there.
my understanding is that there was no way you could get in to see Josh Gad when he did it. And again, most of these people are only doing it for 2 or 3 days, and I think he did for
Yeah,
two.
I saw he was riding Splash Mountain too.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was very
he's. Oh, imagine.
disappointed.
I
He's,
know that's
he's
so.
spreading bad
I
messages to
can't
people
believe
by
that.
doing
That's
that.
how could he do that? But um, yeah. So I just I really always I'll see, maybe I'll see Josh Gad someday do the show, but I've always wanted to see Neil Patrick Harris do the show, and I got to do that.
I
So
live down here, and I always wanted to too, but I just never. I'll have to
yeah,
do the dinner package sometime, like you. Like I never
yeah,
think about this, but eating at the Garden Grill or Le Cellier or whatever,
yeah.
it's a good thing anyway. I mean, and then you can just. But do you still have to wait to get in, or is it's guaranteed
There is a
seating, right?
line. It's guaranteed seats, but there is a line that you get in. You don't have to wait. Some people, they want to get as close to the front as they can,
Yeah, and
so
I don't care
they,
about that.
I don't either. I just wanted to be in the, amphitheater, and
Yeah.
we had really good seats. We could see him really, probably about the middle. Not the direct middle, looking at him head on, but in the middle of the, rows of seats.
Did he
So
ask about me?
he did. He was very disappointed that you hadn't
Hmm.
been making any more 3D signs. So yeah, he was he said it right from the stage, But
If he would have bought them more, I would
yeah, right.
have changed everything.
It was a really good show, and I recommend anyone to see it at least once. I fully think it's worth it. I can't say enough about it. And Neil Patrick Harris is great. He really is.
Yeah, I'll have to see it sometime. Like I said, I've been living down here since 2017 and never saw it yet. But again, I blame being blocked out for more than half of the
Yes. Yeah.
time I could see it too. So crowds and blockout, and it's like that just kind of it doesn't take much for me to say I'll go somewhere else. So
I totally understand that. Um, I would do the same. But
yeah,
after the show, we decided to finish the cookie stroll. We only had like a couple left. So we did finish it. We collected a reward, and then I wanted to go look at some shirts. So I went to the Great Britain Pavilion, the UK Pavilion, and I was looking. They had some Beatles shirts in there. They had some Monty Python shirts in there. I love Monty Python. I don't love the Beatles. I like the Beatles, and they just had some cool merchandise that just said UK Epcot Pavilion, and that was really what I had my eye on. Came close to buying it, decided to leave it on the rack, maybe come back. And I said to my wife, I said, why don't we just go to the creation shop? They have everything in there. I don't really like the creation shop because of the creepy, weird mannequins, and I don't like the theming in there, but they definitely have everything in there. So
it definitely reminds me of a more realistic future now. It's like
yeah, it reminds me of something very very sad in the future, something that like George Lucas's 11 THX 1138. If you ever watch that movie, that'll remind you of that. But anyways, I started looking at shirts and I was kind of disappointed. I'm a big guy, so I have a 3X. That's the 3X shirt is what I buy. And they really didn't have much left. And here's the other thing, and maybe this will get me in trouble, so I hope it doesn't reflect on you, John. But I miss walking into a store and seeing a men's section and a woman's section and being clearly able to look at a shirt and say, yeah, I mean, that's me because
yeah,
it's,
I didn't even think of that. They did. You used to have like here, and there was even signs up. They don't have that anymore. I don't even know.
it's no, everything's intermixed and a
I didn't
lot of
even
stuff.
notice.
So for me, look, there's a lot of guys like younger guys, maybe, there's other men that are clearly more fashion conscious than me. I am not fashion conscious. I'll mix camo with like the weirdest shirt.
We
And
need
my
an old
wife,
guy section.
yeah,
Well,
it was
now
just,
that you mention that, I did ask the other day because I got a free shirt at Universal, and I'm always asking my wife. I'm like, is this a men's shirt? Like I don't know because,
see,
and again, maybe that doesn't mean anything, but for me, the
I'm
fit,
glad
like
it's not just me.
I don't want anything form fitting or anything. I
Yeah,
need it
me too.
loose because
You need it loose.
I don't want to
Right.
see. You know what I mean? It's like I
I don't
need
want my
it.
man boobs hanging out for everyone to see.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't even think, but yeah, that is the same. I was at Universal, and I
Ah,
have to
it's
ask my
awful.
wife because I don't know. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, can I like this shirt, but is it made for me or no?
Oh,
Like I don't know.
thank God for that woman I'm married to because she actually educated me or tried to on what to look for, and she helped me pick some stuff out. So then I thought, okay, now I can kind of go on my own. Nope, I couldn't. So I, and I looked around at certain shirts, and I was like, man, I kind of like this button-up shirt. She said that's more of a woman's shirt, and I'm like, I give up. I give up.
Yeah,
And so I did. They had just put out some shirts on a rack in the middle of the store, and it was this shirt. And this is the new celebration that Disney will be doing next year. This is the 100 years of, Disney. I don't even know what they call 100 years of Disney magic or Disney animation or whatever it is. But I really liked this shirt. And they had it in my size, and like I said, and people were swooping around a little bit and taking them off the rack, but I don't think anyone really had an awareness of what they were. So
Yeah.
This merchandise pattern and these types of things, they're going to start showing up in the stores now. In fact, I saw today a report where something else was showing up with this design. So,
Yeah, Disney never seems to learn too that a lot of their guests are not size small and extra small because
yeah,
they never run out of those. There's always more than enough.
yeah.
The whole rack's filled and it's like small, small, small. And I'm like, I look around and I'm like, who's small? I'm not small. Nobody's
Not in
small.
America.
We're not,
Not in
yeah,
America.
not in this. We're just not. And again, no offense to anybody, but I honestly, my daughter is a size small, I think,
Hmm. Yeah.
but that's it. No, nobody else. I do extra large or sometimes large, but not anymore. Those, I think it might be a woman's large, so it's too
I,
tight. So then I need an extra large. But if it's the traditional men's extra large, then it's a little too long, and I'm like, it's hard for me to find shirts anymore. So
yep. I totally understand. And again, I can't tell fashion, so that's not good.
that is
So
your
any,
fashion.
I don't have a fashion. That
Yeah,
is my
when I
fashion. You're
go to the
right.
parks without my wife, I wear my fluorescent socks and everything. And she comes home and shakes her head, and I'm like, "You weren't with me. Who cares? I wear whatever I want." It's like, I'm like that 5-year-old that gets to dress themselves. I'm like,
That's me. That
"You're
would be
not
me
here. I can
too.
wear whatever. It doesn't matter." So,
If all else fails, I just wear a black or gray shirt. And, if I wear a gray shirt and I wear something else with, pants wise, it doesn't match it somehow. I don't know how. I don't know. It's like black and brown. I would wear black and brown
yeah,
and my
just
wife
stick
would
to
yell at me.
camouflage for everything.
That's right.
It all fits in then.
Yeah. So I was walking through again the creation shop and I was looking at this stuff. And, with the pass holder discount and everything, this brand new shirt was really cheap, compared to, I mean, 30% off.
Mhm.
So, brand new shirt with the pass holder discount. Also, something interesting, the monorail set that's around the parks right now that they brought down to $75 a piece, the pass holder discount applies on top of that. So it made it like 50 some dollars.
Wow.
We wouldn't have been able to bring it home. Otherwise, we were going to get it. I mean, we were really tempted to get the monorail set, just put it around a Christmas tree, and uh, we almost got it. We kept trying to scheme ways to fit it in our owner's locker or get it back home with our personal item on the
Yeah, I
plane.
probably would have bought that too if we would have seen it. Like that's
That's
crazy.
you can actually, it's still available. You'll find it all over the place at Disney Springs, and your pass holder discount will apply to it. So
Hmm.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, I might
The
have to go there, go to one of those places. My
Yeah.
my wife likes shopping, so 30% off. We'll have
Yeah,
to
and
make a point.
it'll be at World of Disney and the Castle playset as well, which they've been selling same price. So they're all going to be deeply discounted.
That is kind of concerning though. Like Disney usually doesn't give anyone a discount. Around
I
the
know.
holidays, you get nothing ever.
Yeah.
And they also don't do things to be nice. They do
Well, it's
things to
not.
move product and
Yeah.
for a reason. Because I was going to say 30% off is great, but based on what I've seen the past year, their prices are insane. So I
Yeah.
think they need to bring it down. And then when they take it back, it kind of makes the ease up a little bit less. Because, like I said before, I'm looking at like a girl's long sleeve shirt because
Yeah.
like $99, and I'm like, why
Yeah.
on earth would you pay that? And again, that's why I know they don't want to pick any genders. uh, Women tend to pay a lot more for their clothes, and
They
that's
do.
not right, but Disney likes money, and so it's like, here's a woman's shirt and a
Hmm.
men's. The woman's costs 40% more for some reason. It's like,
This is the type of thing that Kohl's or Macy's or places like that do, where they have these expensive prices and they allow the people that really, are the quote early adopters of whatever shirt they're selling or whatever apparel line they're selling. They will do the early adopter thing and pay that full price, and then they discount it later or do a couponing thing. So I don't know if this is their attempt at that, or if they're bringing prices down or what. But we'll see what happens. But again, a lot of the stuff is probably to dump the 50th anniversary merchandise, which there's a ton of it left laying around. So
Yeah, there really wasn't much of that that I even cared for. I don't
yeah,
think I have much of anything like clothing wise.
yeah.
Nothing really.
I bought some stuff on sale, but that was about it. So, and most of it's in the owner's locker down in Florida as
I
backup
I
shirts.
prefer Krampus.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to keep that.
So later that night, we left then, right before Harmonious. I,
You
I
missed
don't,
Harmonious.
I missed Harmonious. I wanted to beat the crowds out from
You should have.
Harmonious.
Yeah, it's like that Office movie. I wouldn't say I'm missing it.
Well, just had there were all five people that were camping out to see the best view of Harmonious. I wanted to beat them out the door. So
Yeah,
make sure we see Harmonious before it leaves in April. It's
yeah.
gonna leave it and be done.
See that
Um,
that just goes to show you reason number 43 of they don't always improve everything by making it
no,
new.
you're right.
Sometimes they don't, and
No, that's
like I
right.
said, lately they've had a really bad track record.
Bad track record for
So
sure.
now's not the
Uh,
time to destroy Future World and Splash Mountain. I'm like, wait,
right.
wait, wait till you're hitting better. Right now, you're not doing so good.
Yeah. Um, we took the Skyliner back to the hotel, and when I went there, I went into the Everything Pop. Really, in my opinion, one of the better gift shops
Yeah, I
on
love that
property.
gift shop. I don't know why.
Well, it's even better now, and this is why I'm talking about this. Everything Pop has a ton of, and I don't want to say a ton, but compared to some of the other stores, resort specific merchandise. So I bought this, and I've never seen it before, and I haven't seen anyone wearing it either. This is a Pop Century hoodie. It's a long sleeve hoodie, and
I
sweatshirt.
love I love the colors.
I know, and I really liked it, and it's got all the Pop Century logos. It was $54.99, but with 30% off. I'm not going to do the math right now, but
It's a good deal though. It's
it was
not
a good
bad.
deal. Um, they had some magnets and some other stuff that were resort specific. A lot of other stuff that they had there that I've never seen before: mugs, cups, like drink cups, like the water cups, like people like now. Just stuff like that. So, keep an eye out on these resorts because they're starting to have specific merchandise now. And that's something that I think Universal in the past has done a little bit better. And, you know,
Yeah, I saw a video with the Riviera Resort, and I was just there too.
mhm.
Loads of merchandise for the Riviera there. They even had a pin set for just the
Wow.
Riviera, like a set of Disney pins, Riviera themed with characters and stuff.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, that's
For me, that's a big deal. I love resort specific stuff, especially magnets, shirts, things like that. So, Pop Century, one of my favorite resorts. I ate that stuff up. So we did that. We got something a little to eat, to tide us over until the next morning. We flew out. We were flying out Sunday. So again, it was just the weekend. So we had a little bit of time in the morning. We went over to Hollywood Studios. Incredibly crowded, even early in the morning. All the rides were like hours wait. Nothing. There was nothing there that had low wait times other than maybe the shows. So we did the Frozen show with the Christmas overlay, which I've urged you to try and do. It just had a little ending that was specific to Christmas. We After that, I wanted to go over to Galaxy's Edge and pick up a Christmas present for a friend of mine, and so I did that. I went into the lightsaber store, Doc Ondar's. I don't know if you've been down there lately, John, but the last couple times I've gone into Doc Ondar's, the animatronic has been not working and had a curtain in front of it, and this time the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I did
Um,
want to I did want to mention though, and I don't know how the heck we missed it. I like I say, I go to the parks a lot and stuff. I did see the Frozen
oh, you
sing
did?
along, but I don't.
Okay.
I saw it a couple weeks ago. I don't know how I didn't bring it up on the podcast because I had picture and video of it. And
Mm.
like I said, sometimes I have missing holes where I forget or I don't. If I don't pull it up, I don't remember. But we
What did
did
you think
see
of
it.
it?
No, it was good, but again, it's still not my thing though. The songs are good, but you know, I got Anna's giggling by the end. I'm like, all right, everything she
Yeah,
says is
that's
and I'm
kind of
like, all
annoying, and
right.
her high pitched voice
Yeah,
is
and
annoying.
I know that she's doing it because she's an actress that's paid and that is the role she's playing. But I
Yeah,
don't think even Anna could say everything in the same tone. It's like you
yeah,
can't be that excited about everything. But again, I'm just an angry old guy, so everybody else enjoyed it thoroughly, and I recommend
yeah.
it. Just, and what I didn't like too is the seats were so like I
Yes,
felt
they're
like the guy
tight.
next to me we were pushing up against each other, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't
they
like
were
touching
tight. They're tight.
strangers. I'm not
Yeah.
into touching strangers. So
I,
and but overall though, as I'm watching it, you know, this the music is so good. It's so well
mhm.
done. The guy is hilarious.
He is right.
There was a guy there who kept doing. You know, I forget. I think he was talking about the Grinch and all kinds of stuff that he's probably not supposed to say, and you know,
Yeah.
it was really funny. And we actually tried to go live from there, which I thought, I'll go live from there. The live shut down and it said copyrighted material was seen or something. I was like,
Oh
all right,
wow.
I don't care. It only had hardly had anyone watching it anyway, but
Yeah.
I was just relaying what I'm seeing. But apparently, Frozen is so highly copyrighted that streams explode on Instagram and just die if you try to hear. If you start saying you want to build a snowman or something, it just a big red screen popped up and it was like this
Wow.
broadcast has been stopped. I'm
I
like,
mean, we just got
holy crap!
copyrighted on YouTube for that. So, I mean, right
Yeah.
there.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, but usually going live on Instagram, they don't really care what you're doing. I don't get any money for that. It's not monetized in any way. There's no ads.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, it's just showing you what I'm seeing. So I didn't think anything of it. But
I
yeah.
like the show, and I particularly like the kids' responses, like little kids, like squeal with delight whenever snow comes down at the end and all that. So,
No,
uh,
it was good though. It's a
yeah,
good show.
the
And yeah,
storytellers, the story, I think they're called storytellers, or the
well,
the guy and the girl,
you know what made me think of it too? And of course, I don't know where the heck it is. It's in my picture somewhere. I wanted to show you my view of it because I took a picture from my seat and somebody's head was basically like this. So all I
Yeah,
saw was the back of a head for the most part.
yeah,
And next to her were little children and stuff. So I'm happy the kids were enjoying it and stuff, but
yeah.
literally I just had to go like this and I really
Uh,
couldn't see. I don't know why they make any theater in this day and age like that. Like they
I
need to
don't
do it
know.
like the new movie theaters where you're
More
above the person in
amphitheater and
front of you no matter what. You're above. You're
yeah,
not basically the same behind them because again, I'm just too short. I'm not going to be able to see. And I didn't
I
care
agree.
though because there's nothing to see anyway. But
Yeah.
just
Um, I went down to Galaxy's Edge, by the way, and it was super crowded. So I even had to wait in line to get into Doc Ondor's.
mm,
So I knew what I wanted to get for my friends, so I just went in and got it when I was able to get in there. I did get a breakfast Ronto wrap while I was down there, and they also in that same they have like a side that you can buy of like some kind of pork rinds or something. I forget what they
I
call it.
got them once. It was like
Did
a
you?
spicy turkey
Yeah,
or something.
something like that.
That wasn't very good though.
Oh well,
But
this
the
one wasn't
Ronto
like
wrap was good.
turkey. This wasn't like turkey. This had some kind of other spice to it. For me, I thought it tasted pretty good.
I got
Um,
something from there that looked like beef jerky almost, and it was not.
uh,
I didn't
no,
like it, but
these were like pork rinds, but the Ronto wrap, yeah, it was good.
Ronto wrap, I did have the regular one once, and man, I enjoyed
Mm,
that. And
yeah,
that I would get again, but I never think of it because I don't even walk through Galaxy's Edge.
yeah.
I'm just like, oh,
The breakfast one, I've had the regular one and the breakfast one. I like them both, and
yeah.
that was it. I we left because we had to get on. We did the Mears Connect, and there was a bus that pulled in early at Pop Century with Mears Connect, and I asked the guy. I had like the email from him. I asked him, hey, I know you're early. You're the early guy, but there's not a lot of people on there. Can I hop on with you? And he said, sure. I got nothing better to do. He said, come along. I got one other stop. He said, it's going to be a little busy and a little weird, but come on. And he didn't explain why. So I got on early to go to the airport with like four other families. And the driver was talking to us all. He was great. And before we went to the airport, we went to it was a big convention center hotel, the Hyatt. You know, Orlando, the Orlando area has the largest Hyatt in the world, I guess. This is the World Hyatt, I think is what it's called, Hyatt World or something like that. This place is huge, and that's where he stopped. And he said, "Oh, look there, on the roadside. There's an elf." And there was someone dressed as an elf walking along the roadside. And as we pulled into this hotel, there was a lot of people dressed as elves, Christmas elves, and other costumes. And here it was a cosplay convention going on there, a huge one. And as he pulled up, he said, "Oh, this is a mess." And he called in and he told them that it was going to be a mess there. But he said they had a charter, like somebody chartered the bus. Two people, a couple, hopped on. They chartered the bus. I guess it's like $50 to charter a Mears bus, and they'll send one
Wow.
out. And I don't think that's too bad, to go to the
No.
airport, $50. We didn't pay that. Like we paid Mears Connect is $37. So we got on with them. We went to the airport and flew out. Before we get to your social media, John, I just want to mention one thing, something that we've talked about over the years. Um, Disney cast members are different now. I'm not going to trash Disney cast members on this podcast right now, but they're different. And we went to one of the first rides we did at Epcot was Test Track, and there was a cast member. And when we got to the front of Test Track to ride, and the cast member, she had tattoos up and down her arm and all over her, and I thought, I guess I got a little judgmental about this. I have tattoos myself, so it's not about the tattoos, but it's just about the expectation of Disney cast members. And I know they've changed over the years, and I thought, oh boy, what's this going to be like? Let me tell you, John, I don't know if they're doing different training or what's going on, but that cast member was on her game. And when I got up to get on the ride, there was a family of individuals who acted like they couldn't speak English, and they came up through the single rider line, and they were trying to get bunched together by going to single rider line. She was on top of that, man. She was like separating them out, and she's like, "No, ma'am, you're not going to do this. You got on here as a single rider. She didn't point or anything, you know, she did the Disney thing, but she said, you have to come back with me because now I'm going to have to reseat you because you didn't follow the rules. And she's kind of was like, and I heard her like talking to her and saying, you understood enough to know that you got in the single rider line. So now I have to reseat you because of, you know, this is the way that we do this. And
I'm
she
surprised the
wasn't
guest didn't.
taking,
Surprised the guest didn't punch her.
I, it didn't happen.
The new
And
Disney.
she was on top of that. And so crowd control throughout the entire trip was pretty good. Like
Hmm.
somebody was doing some stuff in the spaceship Earth line, and like a kid was climbing on the railing, and the attendant was like, you know, don't do that. I haven't seen that in a while. A cast member actually tell someone to get off the railing or
Yeah.
anything, you know.
I
So
usually I've seen them mostly pretend they don't see stuff because I don't feel like
yeah,
dealing with the conflict, you know. So
I guess the lesson that I learned is, and I know this, and I shouldn't be judgmental about people like that, but I learned don't judge a book by its cover. Just because things are changing doesn't mean that that person isn't going to do a good job. And I thought they were on their game on this trip. So that's what I have to say about that trip and about that part of it. So in my opinion, it was pretty positive as far as CMs go this trip. Um, all right, John, how'd your social media go for the week?
well, this will be a quick one. It's fairly uneventful. I don't remember where I was the last time. Probably the same place, basically. But I always hear December is a bad time for social media, meaning your views are going to go down, your followers are going to go down. People are not looking at their phones as much. They're not at work looking at their phones where they should be working. So it's like one of those things that, you know, in their daily grind is when people do the most viewing. So things have slowed down a bit. I am at 110,000 followers on the Universal account, which is probably where I was a week ago. But I mean, I think it's like 110, like 800 or something. So it's growing very slow, which is good. But I noticed recently, you know, I have 110,000 followers, and there are some reels like this one was viewed by 8,400 people actually, and that's how many people saw it. So the algorithm decided that 102,000 of my followers don't even need to see this thing. And that's been happening a lot with Universal now. Like for a while, I was getting huge numbers. And now, as you can see, even stuff, you know, 12,000, 29,000, 12, 36, 28. There's a big one, 157. But for a while, I was on fire with this account, and it just in the past like 4 days, it's all of a sudden, um, you know, like a small fraction of even my followers are seeing it. And again, I'm not blaming it. It's not a shadow ban or anything else. It's just, I think they're always making adjustments. And right now, it's just, you know, it's on a downturn. Like this, I did one about the prop shop at Universal, 262 likes, 7,000 people saw it. For my Universal account, that's very small. Like my likes used to be in the thousands for anything on there. So again, extreme slowdown. It's probably just temporary. Um, I'm not too worried about it yet at this point. And Disney is similar, but the weird part is Disney's been more consistent. Remember, I showed you last week I still have that cap, and what I mean by that is when I showed my reach last week, the 163,000, which you can see how those lines there's a line at the top that says 163,000. It never goes above that.
Mm-hmm.
It can go below, but it stops at that. That's why I said the cap. And I still see a lot of posts, and people that have like a couple thousand followers are getting huge reels.
Mm-hmm.
I have not had one of them in 6 months, a year, a long time. So again, my account is capped at a certain one, where the smaller accounts, they're getting much less views than me, but every once in a while they're like in a huge one, and it's like, I don't think I'm going to get a huge one at this point for a while. But there is a sense of consistency, meaning, I'm doing all right. I'm doing 25, 25, 33, 21. It's like, it's still better than a lot of people, but and I wanted to point out too, I posted one not to my followers last night, and that's at 2,600 views. So that's just shows you without going to my followers. And even if it does go to my followers, like 12,000 people out of 109, it's like, it's just weird. I need to figure out how to convince the algorithm that people that follow me actually want to see what I post, because they don't believe it at this point. So they decide for me if my content actually wants, something that people that follow me want to see. So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, it slowed down drastically all around, and I've heard this from other people too. My TikTok really slowed down a lot, and matter of fact, I was at 76.4 thousand followers. It went to 74.3. And I heard that that reach for a lot of people on TikTok has dropped significantly, and like the people who actually do it for a living are like getting panicky about it, like what's going on. For me, I make like 8 cents a day or something. I don't really, the whole platform could explode, and I don't really care at all, because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make me any money in the least. But I'm still
Something
happy with what I'm doing.
something that happened this past week or the week before, I think, is that Congress, and it might have even been passing the law, I'm not sure, that they were banning TikTok from government laptops and cell phones and
Hmm.
things of that nature. So that might be part of the reach. Maybe there was just a ton of people on government devices. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea, but again, nothing. Even like rock and roller coasters, something like this used to get big numbers. Like the people liked roller coasters on there.
Hmm.
4,000 views. It's
Wow.
it's not terrible, but for based on what I used to get, these numbers are really bad. Just terrible. Like
Yeah.
they're like everything I do is lower end stuff. Where if you look back a little bit, like there's 175,000 for a rock and roller coaster, where now I get 4,000. And again, maybe it'll catch up later, but it's just right now there's nothing hitting anywhere. But I also hear that, like I said, December is a bad time for social media in general. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've got shorts on YouTube scheduled up through February. So
Mm.
that I really want to be to have something on YouTube for my shorts come February. So I'm I'm basically spamming them with stuff, hoping they don't all do good. It's like you get 1 view and 3 views and 2,000 views and then 100 views and then 3 views, and it's like,
Mm.
I don't know. It all depends if YouTube puts you in the recommended section or whatever, which I guess they decide on every reel, because once in a while I get one. Most of the time I don't. And if I don't, I don't get anything. But anyway, YouTube is like a crapshoot for me right now. I'm just throwing stuff out there, hoping that eventually something happens. But But like I said, I guess December's the time to not think too much about social media because it's not going to do as good as you'd hope. So
Yep, I think that's true. All right, John, where can they find you online?
you could find me at C.WDW on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and CWDW on YouTube and C.UO on Instagram and Facebook.
All right, you can find me at the THEE Giant Rat on Instagram and on TikTok. And that should do it for this one. See you on the next one.